I'm going to tell you something that will sting. Not because it's cruel, but because it's true. When a woman cheats on you or leaves you first, it didn't happen overnight. It started long before the moment she packed her bags or sent that final text. It started in silence, in the smallest shift of her tone, the subtle withdrawal of warmth, the slow replacement of admiration with quiet contempt. You didn't notice it because you still believed in her words, but she had already stopped believing in yours. Modern women are not built like before. They've been programmed to believe that loyalty is optional and happiness is a moving target. They're taught that relationships are stepping stones, not destinations. That if a man doesn't constantly stimulate, surprise, and worship them, then something must be wrong with him, with you. And here's the cold part. They'll leave you emotionally long before they leave you physically. By the time you start to feel her pulling away, she's already gone. She's already comparing you in her mind to someone else, maybe a coworker, maybe an ex, maybe just a fantasy. She'll keep sleeping next to you, keep smiling for photos, keep saying, "I love you." But in her mind, she's already rewriting history, changing you from the man she loved to the man who failed her. Women cheat differently. They don't always start with lust. They start with disappointment. And disappointment, when left unspoken, becomes justification. She starts telling herself stories. He doesn't listen anymore. He takes me for granted. We've grown apart. Each story absolves her, layer by layer, from responsibility. Each story turns betrayal into self-defense. But what makes this era dangerous isn't the cheating itself. It's the normalization of it. Social media, feminism, and the culture of self-discovery have rewritten infidelity as empowerment. You deserve better. You owe it to yourself to be happy. Don't settle. These phrases aren't advice, they're escape routes. Women today live in an illusion of infinite options. With a single swipe, she can browse thousands of men, all of them appearing more interesting, more successful, more attentive than you. It doesn't matter that it's an illusion. Her brain can't tell the difference. Every like she gets is a microdose of dopamine. Every DM, a whisper of validation. And dopamine, once tasted, makes contentment impossible. She begins comparing real life to fantasy. You, the man who comes home tired, who forgets anniversaries, who tries to provide stability. You can't compete with an endless feed of filtered men offering emotional fireworks. So she checks out, quietly. And the cruel irony? You'll probably try harder. You'll sense her distance and think, I need to fix this. You'll plan dates, buy gifts, try to remind her of what you once had. But she won't see your effort as love. She'll see it as proof that you're finally afraid to lose her. And that's when she knows she has power. That's when the betrayal begins to crystallize. It won't happen in one night. It'll happen through whispers, texts, messages she swears are innocent. She'll say it's just a friend. But emotional cheating is still cheating. And once she opens that door, it never closes. Because here's the truth, women rarely cheat to leave. They cheat to prepare to leave. They find their next branch before they let go of the last one. They secure their next emotional provider before walking away from their current one. It's not chaos, it's strategy. It's survival instinct in a modern disguise. And when she finally walks out the door, it won't be a decision. It'll be a transition she planned months ago. She'll act cold, detached, maybe even angry. Not because she hates you, but because she can't face her own guilt. She'll paint you as the villain, rewrite the story to make sense of her choice. She had to leave. You changed. You weren't emotionally there. But deep down, she knows it's not that simple. She didn't leave because you were bad. She left because she thought she could do better. And the tragedy is, she probably won't find it. Because no matter how far she runs, the problem isn't the man she leaves. It's the mirror she avoids. You need to understand something about the way women cheat. It's not random. It's not impulsive. It's psychological warfare disguised as emotional need. When a woman cheats, it's rarely about sex. It's about validation. It's about attention. It's about proving to herself that she's still desirable, still powerful, still capable of control. Most men think cheating happens because something was missing. No, it happens because something was overflowing. Ego, resentment, or fear. She cheats to rewrite the story where she's no longer the one being neglected. She's the one choosing. She cheats to flip the script, to turn vulnerability into dominance. And the scariest part? She does it long before she even meets the man she cheats with. Let me explain. A woman's betrayal begins in fantasy. She imagines a world where someone sees her more deeply, listens better, understands her pain. These fantasies start as harmless daydreams but grow into emotional replacements. By the time she meets that other man, he's stepping into a role she's already written for him. He doesn't have to be extraordinary, just different. Different is all it takes. Because modern women are addicted to novelty. They mistake new for better. They confuse different attention with deeper connection. And when that high hits, that intoxicating rush of being wanted again, the man at home doesn't stand a chance. Meanwhile, she's already rationalizing it. She tells herself, I deserve this. I've been unhappy for so long. He stopped caring. This is just emotional. And once she starts justifying emotional cheating, physical betrayal is inevitable. See, female infidelity is not driven by lust. It's driven by emotion. When a man cheats, he often wants an escape. When a woman cheats, she wants a replacement. That's why women rarely confess. They don't feel guilty in the same way. In her mind, she's not betraying you. She's finding herself. She's rewriting her story into one where she's the protagonist escaping oppression. And you? You become the villain by default. That's why she can look you in the eyes, kiss you goodnight, and still text another man the next morning. It's not coldness, it's compartmentalization. She's learned to separate her feelings, to build emotional walls so she can betray and still sleep at night. Where did she learn this? From a culture that rewards emotional chaos. Social media is her temple of validation. Her friends are her priests of self-justification. They'll tell her, if you're not happy, it's okay to explore. They'll say, men do it too. They'll cheer her on while she destroys the one person who actually loved her. But here's what almost no one says out loud. When women cheat, they don't just break trust. They break their ability to love. The first betrayal always costs her soul the most. After that, it gets easier. The guilt fades. The empathy dulls. The tears become performative. Every affair, every emotional flirtation chips away at her ability to bond deeply ever again. She doesn't realize that while she's seeking connection, she's burning the very bridges that make it possible. By the time she leaves first, she's already emotionally anesthetized. She can walk away without looking back. Not because she doesn't care, but because she's already detached. The moment she started comparing you, she started deleting you. The moment she stopped admiring you, she began replacing you in her mind. That's why when you ask, how could she move on so fast? The answer is simple, she didn't. She moved on long ago. You just didn't see it. And here's the cruel irony. The man she cheats with often becomes her next victim. The cycle repeats. The same unmet needs. The same discontent. The same emptiness. Because no man can fill a void she refuses to confront. She doesn't want love. She wants emotional anesthesia. She doesn't want a partner. She wants distraction. And when the newness fades, when the thrill dies, when the guilt resurfaces, she'll start rewriting the story again. He wasn't right either. I deserve more. The modern woman's betrayal isn't personal. It's cultural. It's the byproduct of a generation that confused freedom with detachment, empowerment with indulgence, and self-love with self-obsession. She cheats not because she hates you, but because she's been taught that fulfillment lies in chasing the next emotional high. But here's the bitter truth. Every time she chases that high, she sinks lower. Every time she leaves, she takes less of herself with her. Until one day, there's nothing left to give. Only a hollow body chasing ghosts of what used to feel alive. That's why women cheat before they leave. Because they're already gone. Spiritually, emotionally, psychologically, long before you ever notice. When she finally starts pulling away, it won't look like war. It'll look like confusion. You'll ask, "Are you okay?" And she'll say, "I don't know." That phrase, "I don't know," is the camouflage of betrayal. It hides intent behind vulnerability. It makes you think she's lost, conflicted, torn. But she's not confused. She's calculating. This is the stage most men never survive, not because they're weak, but because they're still operating by rules that no longer exist. You think honesty matters. She thinks optics do. You think love is built on communication. She knows it's built on leverage. You think she's hurting like you are, but she's already building a new narrative. Here's how the silent war begins. She starts collecting ammunition, not facts, but feelings. She'll store every argument, every slip-up, every misunderstood text, and one day, she'll weaponize them. She'll rewrite history with precision. "You never listened. You always made me feel small. You didn't try." Each phrase is a blade sharpened for the breakup. When she leaves, she won't say she cheated. She'll say you made her feel unloved. She won't say she betrayed you. She'll say you stopped making her happy. And society will nod in agreement because we've built a culture that confuses discomfort with oppression. That's the genius of modern betrayal. It hides behind moral language. She'll cry in front of her friends, and they'll comfort her. She'll post vague quotes about self-growth and outgrowing toxicity. The same friends who encouraged her affair will now call her brave. She'll say she had to choose herself, and no one will ask what that really means. Meanwhile, you'll be standing there with your world in pieces, wondering how someone you loved turned you into the villain of a story you never agreed to be in. Because this isn't just infidelity. It's psychological assassination. She won't destroy you with rage. She'll destroy you with narrative. She'll reframe her betrayal as liberation. She'll call your devotion control. She'll label your confusion as emotional unavailability. And when she's done, you won't just lose her, you'll lose your reputation, your peace, and the version of yourself that believed in love. It's a pattern as old as time but amplified by modern tools. Social media has become her courtroom. Every post is evidence. Every caption is testimony. Every like is validation. She doesn't need truth. She needs sympathy. And the internet will gladly give it to her. She'll play the victim so well that even you'll start to believe her. You'll replay every fight, every mistake, trying to find the moment you drove her away. But here's the truth most men never accept. You didn't drive her away. She planned her exit while pretending to fix things. Women rarely leave abruptly. They stage it. They build emotional bridges to new men while dismantling the one they share with you. They start fights not to resolve them, but to justify their escape. They pick at your flaws until you become the villain they need you to be. And when you finally react, when you get angry, defensive, broken, she captures that moment and says, "See, this is what I've been dealing with." It's not accidental. It's narrative construction. The goal isn't just to leave, it's to leave clean. To walk away with her image intact, with you branded as the problem. That's why women don't just cheat, they rewrite reality. They'll tell mutual friends you changed. They'll tell coworkers you were controlling. They'll tell family you didn't make them feel safe. All while they're texting the man who helped them escape the life they now pretend to hate. It's a silent war, fought in whispers, captions, and crocodile tears. And by the time you realize what's happening, the damage is already done. You'll try to defend yourself, but no one listens to men defending themselves. Because the story's already written. And she's the main character. This is how modern betrayal works. She cheats with her body. She leaves with her mind. And she destroys you with her story. By the time you see the full picture, you're already erased from the narrative. She's reborn. The strong woman who finally left a toxic man. And you're the ghost haunting her moral victory. First, she'll look like she's winning. She'll smile wider, post brighter, talk louder. She'll tell the world she's finally free, finally found herself, finally at peace. You'll scroll through her new photos and feel like you're the only one who lost. But what you're seeing isn't peace, it's performance. Because behind every woman who leaves a man she once begged to love her is a silence that starts to grow. First, she drowns it with noise, new people, new hobbies, new attention. She'll jump into the arms of another man and convince herself this one will finally heal what the last one couldn't. She'll feed on the validation like oxygen. The likes, the compliments, the messages, they become her drug. She'll keep chasing that high, hoping it will fill the emptiness she swore didn't exist. But it never lasts, because the attention fades. The new man doesn't adore her endlessly like the fantasy in her head. The validation that once felt powerful now feels hollow. The silence she escaped from returns, louder, heavier, meaner. And that's when the mask starts to crack. It happens in small moments. She sees your name pop up somewhere and feels a sting. She hears a song from your past and her chest tightens. She catches herself comparing the new man to you, the way you listened, the way you tried, the way you stayed. The very things she once mocked you for suddenly become the things she misses. That's the irony. The man she left because he was boring, safe, or too predictable becomes the ghost she can't stop chasing. But by then, it's too late. See, when a woman betrays a good man, something inside her dies too. She can pretend she's empowered, pretend she's glowing, pretend she's thriving. But the truth is, she's haunted. Haunted by the version of herself that was still innocent enough to love without guilt. She can't undo the moment she realized that destroying you didn't fix her. She can't unsee the emptiness that followed the excitement. She can't unfeel the guilt that creeps in when she's alone at night. The guilt that no amount of self-help quotes or therapy jargon can silence. And here's the part no one talks about. The women who leave first never find peace first. Because they never grieve. They escape. You, on the other hand, you'll fall apart, but you'll rebuild. You'll question everything, but you'll understand more than ever before. You'll learn what loyalty really means, what self-worth truly costs, what love demands from the soul. And when you rise again, you'll be untouchable, because you'll know what it means to lose everything and still come back whole. But she'll keep running. From guilt, from memories, from herself. She'll keep trying to find new faces to erase the one she left behind. But you can't run from a mirror, and that's all every new man becomes. A reflection of what she ruined. The truth is, women like her never win. They just delay the collapse. Because betrayal doesn't end when she walks away. It begins when she realizes she can't outrun its echo. One day, years later, she'll scroll past your face. Maybe you'll look happier, calmer, alive again. Maybe you'll be with someone new. A woman who never needed to destroy you to love you. She'll stop scrolling for a second. Her stomach will twist. And she'll remember everything. The nights you waited up. The way you forgave. The way you loved her when she didn't deserve it. That's the real punishment. Not loneliness, but awareness. Awareness that she killed something pure. That she traded devotion for dopamine. That she had everything a woman could want. And she burned it for attention that never cared for her. She'll realize that while you were rebuilding, she was repeating. While you were healing, she was hiding. And while you moved on, she stayed stuck in the story she wrote to justify her betrayal. That's when the mask truly falls. Not when she leaves you, but when she finally meets herself. And when that moment comes, there's no applause. No you go, girl. No audience cheering her growth. There's just silence. The kind that follows the end of a long lie. She'll finally see that what she called freedom was just a cage without walls. And that the man she left behind was never her enemy. He was her last chance at something real. But by the time she realizes that, you'll already be gone.